Hi, this is lesson 6 in the 3-day intensive Be Healing Attracting the Soulmate. Now this lesson is about those lists that you've written and really getting down to detail of why we've done that and what it tells you about yourself. And so we're going to, first of all, talk about list 2 that you've written, and that is the list that's about you in a relationship. And the important thing to note here is about the law of attraction, that we are attracting towards us like energy. And so when we are asking for something, we need to be aligned with it to be able to bring it into our lives. Now what that means is, if you're asking for a soulmate relationship and you're imagining that yourself, your inner self and your outer self, and the things that you're doing and the things that you'll be and the lifestyle that you lead when you're in your soulmate relationship, if that is vastly different from what you're living now, then things need to change for you to be aligned with that. And so this second list that you've written, all those things that you will be within a relationship, within that soulmate relationship, needs to be looked at. And I had you mark the ones that you're not already doing or that you're not already being. Now I want you to go through that list of those ones that are marked, and one by one ask yourself why you're not doing that already. Because soulmate relationships are about two whole people coming together, not people coming together to fix each other or to provide something for each other apart from love and support. That's the only thing that's going to be provided within a relationship. You shouldn't expect to get anything else from your partner. And so by you thinking that you can have like a lifestyle change or some other kind of a change in your life with that partner coming in, that's not going to happen. So you need to be that person that you want to be within that soulmate relationship before you find the soulmate relationship, because it's that energy that's going to attract you to it. This vision that you have in list 2 of yourself in a soulmate relationship, that's your ideal. And your soulmate is the ideal too. And so you need to be in that energy before that soulmate will come in and match you in that. And so go through those things that you've marked as things that you aren't currently living, but you aren't currently being, and ask yourself why you're not that already, and know that you cannot wait for the partner to come in for you to actually start doing that. You need to start doing it before that partner comes in. And that might seem a little odd to you, because we all want someone to share things with. And so say you might have written on your list that you'll go on holiday twice a year, and that you'll go to beautiful places and sit watching the sunset and things like that, nice romantic things that you might write down in a list like that. Well, you might not think that you want to do those things by yourself, but really you need to start doing those things by yourself, because if you start doing that, you're going to be that match for your soulmate so much quicker. Yeah, you need to allow yourself those things before someone else comes into your life, because they aren't going to be the one that allows yourself to do that. You have to be the one that allows yourself to do that. This is something that really speeds along your path towards your soulmate, is when you have full trust and you know that if you start doing those things right now that you would do with a partner, and being happy to do them by yourself, knowing that it's getting you towards your soulmate partner even more quickly, then you'll find your soulmate really fast. And so take those holidays. Go to those places that you'd go with someone else. It doesn't matter if you're by yourself. Law of attraction states that you'll attract like energy, and so you can be sure that if you go and do those things, you'll meet people that are doing that same thing by themselves too. So you won't be alone. You won't be alone. You're never alone. In fact, your guides are always with you. The universe is always supplying you. And so it's important as you start to do these things for yourself that are on that list that you're not currently doing, is to feel good about them first. And so this goes with everything in life, not just for this, but to align with something, to get positive results with anything that you do, you need to wait before you make a decision, before you take a risk, before you act in any way whatsoever. You need to feel good about it. And so don't force yourself to do those things if you're feeling bad about it. So while you're feeling that you'd be really lonely if you did that by yourself, don't do it. That's not going to help you towards your soulmate. That's going to help you towards feeling really lonely. And loneliness is not what you've written on your list of how you want to be with a soulmate. You're not going to feel lonely when you have your soulmate with you. And so it's really important to wait until you're in a really good space to do it. And so to turn that around, say it's something that you would want to do with a partner but you don't want to do by yourself, and that's how you're currently feeling about it. I wouldn't want to do that by myself. And so we need to change that around, and changing things around doesn't come instantly. So you can't go from you'd feel lonely doing that by yourself to you'll feel great doing that by yourself in one step. And so you need to take baby steps to get there. And so it's about changing your mind about it. It's about starting to feel good about that. And so the way to do that is, first of all, imagine yourself in that situation and hope that you won't feel lonely. Hope that you won't feel lonely in that situation. That's a much more positive feeling than knowing that you'll be lonely in that situation. So you've changed that knowing and feeling bad to hope that maybe there's someone else there that would keep you company in that situation. And from that hope, that's more towards a positive feeling about it, and you can develop that into feeling excited that there'll be some match there for you. It could even be your soulmate. You might be walking right into what your soulmate's doing too, because don't forget, your soulmate matches your energy perfectly. And you can bet you're doing this work on yourself to find your soulmate. They are doing work on themselves right now to find you too. And so it could very well be that you both decide to go to one place at the same time. And so keep that excitement about that, because this that you know that you'll do with your soulmate, because you'd love to do that. Of course your soulmate would love to do that too, and he'll be wanting to, or she will be wanting to get into that place too. And so that's what they'll be doing. They'll be doing what they love doing, and they'll be going and doing those things too to try and find you, because that's where you'll be. And so that's a high vibration already. So you've gone from feeling really bad about it to hoping that it will be good, to feeling excited that it'll be good, because you know could be so much fun to be had there. There could be other people there that match you, or even your soulmate could be there. And so that's how you develop this feeling, this good feeling in baby steps. And only when you feel really comfortable with it, well, not necessarily really comfortable with it, because we need to kind of push ourselves beyond our comfort levels sometimes. We need to take those risks and push ourselves. And so just once you're feeling good about it, then do it. You'll be surprised. If you use this method in every aspect of your life, you'll be so surprised. I'll give you an example of that. Here in Australia, we have a telephone company, and everybody knows that if you call them up, you end up waiting on the phone for such a long time. You talk to someone in India or somewhere, and you can hardly even understand them, and then they can't even help you anyway. You're passed around and around. Oh, it's terrible. And pretty much everyone here has that same experience with that telephone company. Well, a few weeks ago, I had to call them up, and I thought, well, I don't want to have that experience again. And I was resisting it. I'm like, I don't want to call them, because I don't want to have that experience again. It's horrible and waste so much time, and it's just frustrating. But I'm not going to call them. I'm not going to call them while I'm feeling like this. And so I turned that around, and I started hoping that it would be my question, my query, and what I needed changing would be dealt with really well and easily. And so I changed it into a hope, and then I started thinking, well, you know, there could be a solution to this that I'm asking for. There could be a really good solution to this that could have the perfect thing. They might be able to, you know, stop what I've been paying for, even though I'm under contract for it, and offer me something that would be more suitable for me. with another contract, and that could be really easy, and there could be ways that they can do that. And so once I started feeling really positive about it like that, and I was like, well, you know, it could be the perfect solution, I called them up and the phone was answered straight away. I wasn't put on hold at all. And the person that helped me, I could understand them perfectly, they could understand me perfectly, and they dealt with it really quickly. And of course there was a perfect solution, right, that they could offer me, which was even beyond what I thought was possible, because it actually gave me options to switch between the two, so that if I'm not here at home, then I can switch my internet to be where I am via mobile. So perfect situation came out of it, and that was just from realigning myself, starting to feel good about it before I did it. So this can be used with everything, but definitely use this method before you do anything to align yourself to start doing those things on that list. Okay, and so this is going to be an ongoing thing, because you know, hopefully you're not going to be able to do all those things that you've written on the list that you're not doing already straight away. And also there'll be things on there that you are too, that you aren't being already, not just the things that you aren't doing, but the things that you aren't being. Now this is trickier, because if you've put down something there that you're going to be that you're not already, you need to ask yourself, is that really you? Or are you imagining that you'd be someone else in a soulmate relationship? Because if you think that you're going to be someone else within a soulmate relationship, then that isn't a match to you at all. And so these statements of what you would be, that you've got on your list that you aren't being already, take a good look at them and see if it's actually you, or some projection of what you think someone else would be like in a soulmate relationship. Because your soulmate relationship, you can be yourself. I mean, you can really be yourself. There's no nervousness around this person at all. And so, you know, if you shout things out like I do, sometimes my brain switches off. I'm so used to channeling constantly that a lot of the time I have my mind switched off, and I will just spurt things out. Just whatever goes through my head just comes straight out of my mouth. My partner loves that about me, and it drives my eldest son crazy. He thinks I'm totally mad doing that, and what's more, he thinks that my partner should love me for doing that too, which is quite funny. And so yeah, it's really important to really check in whether that's you or not. And if you find that it is the real you, those things that you said in that list, well, why aren't you being those things now? Because that's a big block. If you're not being who you really are now, you need to question why not, and who are you being, and why? You know, why aren't you being yourself? It's really important that you're yourself before you before you can bring in a soulmate relationship. So that's important. And so bring those along. So once you've been through those ones that you've marked as what you aren't already, and once the doing things, you can sort out yourself in the future, or at the moment, or whenever you want to do that. So you have the means to do that yourself. The being things you can bring along to the webinar. Yep. So the ones that you're kind of stuck on there that you need some help with, and you don't know why you're being someone that you're not, or why you would want to be someone else, bring that along to the webinar and we can help you with that. This can be something that you can work through yourself. You can get to the bottom of that yourself, but you might need some help with that, and as psychics we can help you with that, because we can look back and see where it's actually coming from. So that's list 2. Now moving on to list 3, and that's what they'd love about you. Now this must have been a nice thing to do, really, to build up your self-esteem and your self-worth in that way. And so what I want you to do to align with this list is to go through and check that you are being all those things right now too. So what you're doing is you're really trying to match yourself up right now to what's on those lists, to make sure that you are already being that person that you would be in a relationship. Because if you're already there and you're being that person that you'd be in a relationship, they can come right on in because you're ready. You're already doing everything. You're completely ready to pour them, and they can step right in. And so yeah, take a look at both of those lists and do that work then. I wanted to give you an example. As I was saying that if you're going to the places and you're doing the things that you would do with a partner, even though you might be doing them alone, how powerful that is. In my experience, when I came, I went through quite a long process, even though it was in a short time. It was kind of long for me because I'm used to instant manifestation, but it took me about 3 months to manifest my soulmate when I was really ready to do it. And from when I wrote my first list to when I actually met him, and went through all sorts of steps to do that, steps that I will be taking you through on this. And when it got to the point where I was completely happy in myself and I was doing and being all those things that I wanted to be, I felt, as a psychic, I felt straight away that he was just around the corner, that he was right there, and I was about to meet him. And one of those things on the list that I wanted to do was to go to a cafe, like go to a cafe each day and sit and relax with my partner. And so, of course, I was doing that by myself and had been for quite some time, in fact, because that's what I enjoy anyway. So I'd been allowing myself to do that anyway. And that's where I met my partner. That's where I saw my partner, maybe 2-3 days before we actually made contact and talked to each other. He turned up at this cafe because he was doing the same thing, because he liked going to cafes too and relaxing. So there he was going along, and he was like drawing because he's an artist and that's what he likes to do. So he would go along to that same cafe as I did and sit there and draw. And I would go along and sit there and watch people go by because I'm quite a social person, and I've got a lot of friends, and as they walk past, I'd say hello and people would come and join me in the cafe and things like that. So I was doing what I enjoyed doing in that same space, and he was doing what he enjoyed doing in that same space, and we kind of noticed each other. And then 2 days later I was getting quite annoyed that I hadn't met him already. I was like, Mum, he must be around here somewhere, my soulmate, because I can feel him. I can feel that he's there. And I had the urge to go to another cafe, which I don't usually go to. And when I went there, I was kind of feeling a bit out of sorts because I thought, what am I doing here? And I sat there, and because I don't have a lot of friends that would be near that cafe or go past that cafe or anything, so I was kind of sat there alone. And anyway, this guy that was at the other cafe came out of the shop that was next door of it and kind of looked at me and hesitated, and then got into this car and drove off, and I watched him drive off, and I thought, that's annoying, because I would have quite liked to have spoken to him. I would have liked to have met him and, not being so fearful of making contact. But I had I was very clear, because in past relationships I'd been the strong one in the relationship, and I needed a partner who was strong enough. And so I was very clear with myself this time that I would not make the first move, that I wouldn't make contact, because I was finding that I was meeting the people who weren't strong enough for me by doing that. And so I definitely knew that I wanted to sit back and let the man be a bit more masculine and approach me this time, and so I was holding back. Anyway, and so the next day I went back to the original cafe where I'd seen him, and I was kind of getting the idea that it might be this guy now that I'd seen. And so I went there in the morning, and I thought, right, that's it, I'm going to stay there until he asks me out. And it took about 3 hours, I think. I think he drank about 6 coffees, and he was a few tables away from me, and then he moved to the table nearest to me and asked me to mind his bag, and that was his first way of contact with me. And of course, when he got back from getting his 6th coffee, he started chatting to me, and we ended up going on a date straight away, and then out to dinner the next night. But what I found out is, this is the importance of going to these places and doing what you really love doing, even though you're doing it alone. It's because they're doing the same thing. And I found out afterwards that when I'd gone to that cafe that I don't usually go to, he'd gone into that shop, he'd come out and he thought, oh, there's that girl. And he'd driven back home and he thought, what was I doing? I should have gone up to her and talked to her and asked her out. And so he got back in his car and drove back to that cafe to come and ask me out, and I'd already gone, and I was already, he's gone away again, and we didn't make contact, and I was really feeling bad about that. And then on the day that we actually did make contact, he was actually decided to go to a different cafe on the other side of town, but he had to drive past the cafe that I was in, and when he spotted me there, he thought, right, no, I'll go to this one again and I will ask her out this time. And so he was that exact match. He was not only going and doing the same things to me, going to those same places, but he knew too. He was picking up on that same, we had the same mind there, because he knew that he had to ask me out and I wasn't going to make the first move. And I knew that it would happen in that way too, and he was picking up on the fact that it had to happen then, and so so it just shows the importance of doing what you love doing, and really, even if it feels uncomfortable to you, to push through your boundaries if you're not comfortable about sitting in places alone or going to places alone. But if you do that, it will speed things along. And so yeah, your homework this time is to look back through those lists and really align yourself with that and allow yourself to have those things right now. As I said, soulmates are two whole people coming together, and so you need to be really happy first before you meet a soulmate, and allowing yourself to have those things that you really want. You can even make believe, you can even pretend that your soulmate's already with you and make believe. Children use this all the time. It's such a powerful technique. It's like visualization, but you're acting it out too. Make believe. And so if you're feeling bad about going somewhere by yourself or doing something by yourself, just make believe. If you need to go into your head and have this fantasy world going in your head, the important thing is to really feel it, really feel like it's already there. And that's not about trying to convince yourself that it is already there, because of course that's not true, and so you're going to have conflicting feelings about that. But to get yourself in that energy of it already being there as much as you can, using your imagination and using what you can do and what you can do. Okay, and so that's the end of lesson 6. And so we'll see you in the webinar later, and bring with you those things in the list that you're kind of stuck on, or things that you're having problems with, and we'll help you with that. And so I'll see you shortly.